Hey, okay, so I'm back to talk about the immune system in terms of some things that you've heard possibly on the news, or as you've read things about COVID and how the body's immune system responds. I'm going to talk about white blood cells, specifically T cells, B cells, and then I'm also going to talk about something called mast cells. This is going to be really quick. This is a huge topic that we could dive really, really deep into, and I'm going to keep this very generic, really. So first of all, when you go to the doctor, one of the things that they always do is a CBC, right? And in it, they look at several different aspects of your red and white blood cells. Lymphocytes are your white blood cells. There are different types of white blood cells, and a T cell happens to be one of those types of white blood cells. When they're looking at those white blood cells, one of the things I often remind people is it's very normal for you to have your white blood cell count be off. Because at any given moment, your body could be fighting an infection that you never even realized was there. So when you take blood work is a snapshot of 1 second, what's happening in your body. And that blood work could change in a few minutes, let alone in a few days or weeks. So blood work isn't the end all and be all of diagnostics. Actually, it's at the very, very fingertip. In so much as we can watch for consistencies, patterns to emerge to see if there is something we should take a closer look at. But blood work itself doesn't actually tell you anything. And so you can have your white blood cell count can be high because you have a bacterial infection that you didn't even know you had, and your body would take care of it completely on its own before you ever had any idea that you were sick, and you would remain completely asymptomatic. Or you might have a fever for an hour or 2 or 4, but never need anything else because the fever is your body's way of killing the bacteria or virus or whatever the invading cell is. So, and this is secondary to what we're talking about, but remember that a fever is your friend. It is your body's natural defense mechanism. We do not ever want to intentionally reduce a fever. Now, there are a few exceptions to that. If you have a fever over 104 for an extended period of time, obviously that can be dangerous. But I'm talking about your traditional fever, 100 to 102 and a half, or even up to 103, don't ever use a fever reducer. Let it burn off. That's how your body gets rid of these infections. So a fever is a friend. End of story. But your body is designed, it has all of these mechanisms built into it. Your body is miraculous in so many ways you could never imagine, and it has the capacity to protect you from everything if you let it do its job and you stop getting in the way. Every time you take a Tylenol, every time you take an antibiotic, every time you're getting in the way of letting your body do its job. When you eat a standard American diet and you eat things that reduce the body's capacity to have a healthy immune system, you are the problem. You are the thing breaking the system because the system is perfect without you. When you intervene, you mess things up. So you break it, it's your responsibility to fix it. That's what this is all about. So a T cell is a type of white blood cell. It's very important to the immune system, and it is the core of adaptive immunity, meaning response to the environment. So it recognizes when something shouldn't be there. Think of a T cell like a soldier. That soldier seeks and destroys. It looks for something that's wrong and it fixes it. It gets rid of it. What else do I want to talk about here? So T cells produce cytokines and interleukins, and those are very specific to stimulating the immune response. T cell activation can be measured as a way to measure, I was looking for a better word, the health of someone's immune system. For example, we look at T cell activation in people who have HIV and AIDS in order to assess how damaged the immune response is. There are also B cells. Now, B cells, by contrast, mature in the bone marrow, okay? Oops. Okay. I don't think there's anything here I want to talk about specifically. Okay, so let's talk now a little bit about mast cells. So I deal with people who have a disorder. It's very rare, but I have a lot of clients who have it just because people come to me with rare things. That is called mast cell activation disorder. And in mast cell activation disorder, the body's immune response is broken because the mast cells are constantly being activated, and therefore, in simplest terms, which isn't a very good definition of what mast cell activation disorder is, but if you can imagine that the body is responsive to absolutely everything, in essence, it's allergic to itself. It's trying to destroy itself because it thinks that that's the thing activating the immune response. So in that seek and destroy mechanism, these mast cells are not functioning properly. In a healthy body, a mast cell will regulate the immune response. It contributes to homeostasis within the immune system throughout the body. They are actually your first line of defense against any antigen that is present in the body. There are some genetic disorders, and then there are ways that through epigenetics, our diet, our lifestyle, we can trigger these things. And one of the things we'll talk about when we get to quercetin and elderberry is the cytokine storm, which a lot of people have asked me questions about, and how these cytokines can cause a reaction in some people because their immune system is already broken. This doesn't happen in the average person. It doesn't even happen in people necessarily who have autoimmune diseases. It's a very extreme case. But over time, in people who have mast cell activation disorder, these mast cells cause almost it's an immune response that can tend to be a little bit disproportionate to what the trigger is. Now, in the immune system, we also have the T cells have multiple things. So we have cytotoxic T cells, are called CD8 T cells. We have T helper cells, or CD4 T cells. We have memory T cells. And all of these things have a very specific job to do in terms of virus or bacteria is present. This is how we respond. And so anywhere along the way, we can break that system. And we do that through eating the wrong things, not getting enough sleep, being stressed, some environmental toxins that we're exposed to, some of the products we use on our skin and our body that are absorbed into the bloodstream, particularly not taking care of our gut microbiome and the integrity of the lining of the gut because we have leaky gut. And a lot of that comes from obviously our food, which we talked about earlier on. So if you haven't seen all the videos, please make sure you go back and start at the beginning. The next video that I'm gonna throw up, I think is gonna be on sleep. So I'll talk to you guys later. I hope that you have a wonderful day.